So Todd McShay came out with a new big board, so guess we're covering that today. Didn't plan on doing that, but he did. Top 32 prospects. We're going to go over all that today. What's crack-a-lacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. And we're going to go ahead and check this out first. Special thanks to Manscaped for sponsoring the video. You get 20% off plus free shipping with Manscaped when you use promo code Broshmo at checkout. It's a great way to support the channel. So let's go ahead and get into this sucker. I haven't checked it out, so I'm literally giving you my thoughts. You get my live reaction. It's going to be great. But didn't see this until today. Apparently it came out yesterday. But Will Anderson, number one, for all intents and purposes, he is the best non-quarterback prospect in this class. There's not much to talk about there. People worry about his size and how it comes and what it means for, oh, will he be able to play in a 4-3? And it's like, this dude plays strong. Like, you got to understand, some of these guys aren't going to be scheme specific, and most schemes are very versatile. And they can find a way to fit players in their scheme. A lot of coordinators around the league, especially defensively, are very adaptable in terms of whoever they have on the roster. They will find roles for these guys. And I'm not worried about Will Anderson going to a 4-3 team. So, woof. That's one, just one I wanted to throw out there because I know that's, for some people, that's kind of like they get so drawn in by like, oh, he doesn't fit the scheme. And it's like, it's not how schemes work nowadays. And I think Phil Snow was a great, wish he was still with the Panthers, dude. He was legit the only good thing I liked about that coaching staff. But Phil Snow was very good at adapting his scheme to the players that he had. So, yeah. All right. Bryce Young, first quarterback off the board. Listen, a lot of people are going to have Bryce Young. Bryce Young is, I think, for all intents and purposes, the best quarterback in this class. Some teams won't be able to get behind him because of the size. Some evaluators won't be either, and that's fine. But if you're one of those people out there that is like, oh, there's no way Bryce Young, like Stroud's a better prospect because of size, it's like, okay, that's okay, but you got to understand some people don't care about that. Some people will be like, we could work with that. This is a guy that's very good at protecting his body. So is what it is. Seeing over the line has never been a problem with him. In college, I don't think it'll be a problem for him in the NFL. This is a guy that over the middle of the field, there's no one better. Over the middle of the field, there's no one better at seeing what's going on, directing his guys through traffic, going through his progressions, and making those throws over the middle. I imagine C.J. Stroud or Jalen Carter will be the next. For all intents and purposes, the top four prospects are Young, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, and C.J. Stroud. And then here's C.J. Stroud. This is the guy that does fit those size, requirements for some teams. He's got prototypical size at quarterback. He's got an NFL-ready arm. This is a guy that legit, like, he throws some pretty balls towards the sideline and in the red zone. Like, this is a guy that knows how to put it in the bread baskets of his pass catchers. There are times where, yes, he can get, he overthrows a here and there, but like the decision making's quick. If you're one of those guys that like to helmet scout, they're like, oh, no good Ohio State prospect has come out of here. He's vastly different from past quarterback prospects from Ohio State. This is a guy that gets the ball out quickly. He's not much of a runner. He likes to operate within structure. If anything, one of your biggest knocks for him might be the lack of improvising from Stroud and that he's behind a wealth of talents. Even Gojo, he's not a big fan. Here, Gojo, you want to go? I'll let you out, bud. All right. So there's that when it comes to Stroud. Jalen Carter here at number 4. Again, this is for all intents and purposes everybody's top 4. But Jalen Carter is just special. He really is. Like, the amount of explosiveness and burst to come from a guy that's 300 pounds is rare. This is a guy that eats double teams like nobody's business. I really like that about him. Just go to the Tennessee game where he was a one-man wrecking crew. And then Myles Murphy, bam. This is typically the guy that fits into the top 5 for me. I love Myles Murphy. From a physical tools perspective, the dude has it. He could be a bit more polished, yes, but this guy is going to be a train in the NFL. He really is. And Brian Brazee. Some people really don't like Brian Brazee. They get worried about his health. He had the kidney infection earlier in the year that cost him a game, and I'm kind of like whatever about that. I mean, you can't really do like anything about that. He also missed time earlier because his sister died, unfortunately. So it's like, hey, you can't control that. But you could look at the ACL injury from last year. That might be a concern. But this guy went on the field is just uber talented. Him and Myles Murphy have enabled so many other guys on the defensive line to succeed, like Tyler Davis, Xavier Thomas, KJ Henry. And those are guys that are probably going to get drafted on the backs of Brian Brazee and Myles Murphy, because those guys attract so much attention. But Brian Brazee, man, is just, golly, he's good. And then Olu Fashanu, here we go. Now he's getting the top 10 hype. This is a cat that's not all the way put together in terms of being a run blocker, but you look at his build for a guy that is 19 going on 20, and that he's already doing so well in pass protection. Like, legit, like against Michigan, Mike Morris had to rush from the other side to get pressure. This guy's locked down in pass protection. It's like, okay, come together as a run blocker. That's fine. He's so young. The tools are already just wow with him, dude. So it is nice to see him move up here. And like, honestly, with this tackle class, man, right now, Broderick Jones feels like the guy on the outside looking in. I imagine we're going to see Paris Johnson fairly soon. I imagine Peter Skoronski we're going to see soon. And there's knocks on Skoronski, but like when it comes to rep for rep, he is the best tackle in this class. It's just he has some limitations. Let's keep going. Bijan Robinson. He's not going to be in the top 10 for me just because of the positional value. I take that into account when I make my big boards. And running back, it's just not a high value position, but this dude is a first rounder. This guy is easily, I think, the top back in this class. Big fan of Bijan. This guy, like, his missed tackle rate is just insane. He's not going to the top 10, but man, ooh. And I never say never, really. Never say never. Big fan of Bijan. Then Kelee Ringo, finally, I get some people agreeing with me that the first corner in this class is such a hotly debated issue in terms of, oh, is it Joey Porter? Oh, is it Christian Gonzalez? Oh, is it Cam Smith? And then Kelee Ringo kind of gets lost in that shuffle. But man, this cat, like in man-to-man, he's so tough to beat. Just ask Cedric Tillman. He got bodied by Ringo. Like, Ringo, for his size, 6'2", 210, is so fast. And then Tyree Wilson. This is a cat I've been telling y'all. Man, he's going to go a lot higher than initially where I had him. And he's going to go a lot higher than where people think. Just because at 6'6", 275, he's a really good athlete. Like, he's not like a Travon Walker type of athlete, but he's got great length, great size, and moves exceptionally well. He opposed to Travon Walker, while he won't have like the same testing numbers, which made Walker the number one pick. He has the production that Walker didn't. This guy's been uber productive throughout his career, and there are a few things where Wilson needs to get better at. He's a bit slow off the line, and that's not because of a lack of explosiveness. I don't think he times the snap that well. So it's like he's got a good first step. It's just he doesn't time his first step that well. All right, here's Paris Johnson. Paris Johnson, man, he's been really good this season. He did it at guard. He's doing it at tackle. I think he's a better tackle than he is guard. This is a cat that I've talked about being like a top 10 tackle, as now we're starting to talk about these tackles in the top 10 area. And I think I said this before the season, that there's going to be at least 2 tackles that go in the top 10. Who they are, we'll find out later this year. Right now, it's looking like Paris Johnson. I think Skoronski, but again, with his limitations, maybe a guy like Fashanu could sneak up into that. You want back in now, Gojo? Jeez Louise. Come on, bud. Gojo, you gotta make up your mind, buddy. Oh, yeah, get up in here. Show the people what you're working with. Gojo, mainstay of the channel here, man. Gojo loves being on camera. Ain't that right? Look at that, Gojo. Just look. You don't want to look? Fine. Now you're camera shy? Okay. All right. Let's keep rolling, as there's Peter Skoronski. I guess let's talk about the limitations with Peter Skoronski. Length. It's not going to be great. At least I imagine when he gets measured out, it's not going to be great. When it comes to overall athleticism, it's not ideal for the tackle position, or at least in terms of being a top 10, top 15 prospect. It's not on par, but this guy is the best technician in this class. This guy wins almost every rep. You love the power that he brings. So the question will be, is this a guy that's guard in the NFL, or is it a guy that you think can definitely play tackle? It's not like he's coming in with a limited length, not like Rashawn Slater, who he replaced, or Penei Sewell. He's not that type of athlete. So those are going to be the questions with him. Lo and behold, Will Levis. I actually want to read this one. Transfer, blah, blah, blah. Relatively quick release. Yep, strong arm. Drives the ball on the outside of the hash as well. Blah, blah, blah. I'd like to see more reps featuring full field progressions. Progressions is a thing we've talked about with Levis, and obviously the decision making hasn't been good. Okay, so he puts it right here. Decision making remains a problem that will need to be coached up in the NFL. And you know what? Coaches will believe that they could coach that up. They will. We saw it with Sam Darnold. We saw it with Daniel Jones. They thought they could really do, fix what's between the ears with Daniel Jones. We've seen that to be a lot better this year. The decision making is much better. Granted, he's throwing a lot more passes 10 yards or less, opposed to actually testing deep, where when he goes deep, that's typically where things are a little with him. And I know some people are going to come to the Daniel Jones defense he doesn't have the weapons to do so. And it's but still, man, this guy, he's 38th out of 39 qualifying quarterbacks in terms of quarterbacks that have 10 or 100 or more completions. His average depth of target is 38. It's not good. So is he a guy that can get you over the hump? I don't know. But now, how are we talking about Daniel Jones? But people are going to look at Levis like he's Josh Allen and they could fix his decision making. Though we've seen the decision making come up for Josh Allen recently. He's not built like Josh Allen was built. And I don't think he's the same athlete. Josh Allen was a freak. He just was. And I don't think he's that caliber of freak. So, all right, let's keep it rolling. Michael Mayer. I'm telling y'all, man, people are going to have this guy in their top 15, top 20. Does he go there in the draft? I don't know. Some of the hesitancy will be, he's not generational. And I don't think he necessarily has to be. We've seen TJ Hawkinson really succeed, and he went in the top 10. Probably shouldn't have, but he was a guy that was definitely warranted this top 20 selection. And I think Michael Mayer is kind of in the same ballpark. He warrants a top 20 selection. This guy's a very good run blocker, very good security blanket. He does enough to create the separation that he does underneath, and he can create after the catch in terms of he's just hard to bring down. He's going to be a consistent chain mover. Big fan of Mayer. Then Jordan Addison's the first receiver. This is interesting. I wonder how far Quentin Johnston is. But Addison, he's a burner. He's a guy that's shown, hey, guess what? I can win on the outside. Will that happen in the NFL? I'm a bit less unsure about that, or I'm less unsure than I was going into the season. He's done it in college thus far, but he is a guy that he doesn't play like the Slim Reaper, like Devontae Smith, who Yeah, he was slim. He was thin coming in the NFL, but he played with that physicality. That's not Addison, but Addison does create after the catch. He creates separation horizontally and vertically, so he's definitely in consideration. And then there's Quentin Johnston. Okay. Quentin Johnston, prototypical X size, a guy that has better than you'd expect speed at 6'4", 215. And he could create after the catch. Like, he's just so hard to bring down, and that's just kind of rare. So, like, that's why I like Quentin Johnston's like in my top 10 right now. I'm pretty sure he is. I don't know. I'll release my big board next week. But big fan of Quentin Johnston. And then here's Christian Gonzalez, next corner off on the board here. And Christian Gonzalez, he was on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. This guy's been very good since the Georgia game. Like, shut down. People are going to question the ball skills. And when they do, it's more so, can he turn those pass breakups into interceptions? And that was kind of a thing with Jeffrey Okudah, who he kind of remedied that in his final season at Ohio State, which made him this top 5 pick. I don't think Christian Gonzalez has enough time to really alleviate those answers or those questions, but it's definitely good enough to get him into the top 20. And then here's Joey Porter, next corner. This guy, he's got length. He's got great athleticism. Yeah, he's a bit overtly physical, but I find in the NFL, you'd rather have a guy who is naturally just a physical type of player and have to teach them to be less physical, opposed to vice versa, where it's just not in the nature of a guy who's typically not physical to become more physical. And this year he has been a bit more discreet with his hands. So, like, this is why people talk about Joey Porter as a potential top 10 pick. Are we going to see Cam Smith? No, it's Brian Branch. Yo, finally, some love for my boy Brian Branch. This is a guy I think you could immediately throw into the slot. And then on top of that, that can play deep. He's a freak athlete at that in that regard, man. He's got the versatility to do a lot of things in the defensive backfield. As a defensive back, he could do a variety of different things and do it well. He's a sure tackler. Like, I'm a big fan of Brian Branch. He's easily my top safety right now. Then Lucas Van Ness. A lot of people are talking about him. Dane Brugler just had him in his big board. I don't know if I did. I don't think I did a video on that. Should have. But he had him on his big board a couple of weeks ago. And this guy is not even starting for Iowa. He's more used as a rotation player, though. Like, his play has warranted him to see a ton of snaps. He just doesn't start. But he leads, I think, Iowa in sacks and pressures. And he needs more polish, but this cat's really good, man. He's legit like a grizzly bear. Needs more polish, but, man, he might be ready to come out, or it might be a guy that just waits a year because he's probably going to be a first-round pick. Might still be. All right, let's keep it rolling. Jahmyr Gibbs. Again, I'm not high on the running back position. I have a top 50 grade on Gibbs. Don't think he'll enter the first-round talk for me. I love what he can do between the tackles. He's shown that at Alabama. That was my biggest concern, is this because he coming from Georgia Tech, he seemed like a guy that just really excels out in space, and he's done that, but now he's playing between the tackles a lot more at Alabama. He had the ankle injury, and it seems like he just twisted it, and he should be day to day, but this guy is easy top 50. Does he sneak into the first round? I'm a bit hesitant there. But Gibbs is really good. You could also say Blake Corum. I wonder if Corum will sneak into here. And then there's Cam Smith. Oh, here. Let me move this down now that ESPN brought that at the bottom. There we go. All right, Cam Smith. They're just not throwing this cat's way. Like, he's got ball skills. They're just not throwing his way. He's that dangerous. Like, if you try to tell me Cam Smith is cornerback 1 or cornerback 2, I believe you. I think it's really close. I think there's 4 draftable corners in the first round at this point, and the 4 guys we have already named. Cam Smith is playing good football, and I love the physicality he plays with. Jackson Smith-Njigba, yeah, he's slowed by the hamstring injury, but you know what you're getting in terms of what he is as a prospect. On top of that, like, he's not going to be a guy that can play on the outside, in my opinion. I don't believe he's a guy. If you're looking to get the most out of him, he's not gonna be a guy you want to put on the outside consistently. He is this slot guy that isn't this high-end athlete compared to most guys that are guys that can play on the outside. Over 90% of his snaps have come in the slot throughout his career, and I know he's been slowed by the hamstring injury, so a bulk of this is from 2021. But this cat's wonderful after the catch, one of the best run blocking wide receivers in this class, and I think if you're a team drafting him, you come in here with the mindset of, okay, this guy is we're going to use him in a Cooper Kupp type of role. Big fan of Smith, but I like him better at this like back end of the first round. Antonio Johnson, next safety off the board. Dude's huge. 6'3", 195, great length. Shows very good instincts. I hate using the word instincts, but the dude definitely knows what's going on each and every play. He moved to a more traditional safety role this year, though he could play exceptionally well out of the slot, and he would provide that big slot potential if you want to start him there early. A guy that I think would do good in a 2 high, because I don't think athletically he's going to be on par with some of these guys like Brian Branch. What's another safety we could throw out there in this class? Here, let me go look at my board. Tyler Nubbin, I think, is going to be really good, but he's more of a top 50 than an actual top first round guy. But Johnson's really good. All right, Osiris Torrance. He is the top interior player in this class. Like, he came to the SEC and was like, you know what? Nothing's changed since I've been at Louisiana. Dude's hard hitting. He provides a massive body. Very good run blocker. Showed, hey, in pass protection, I'm just as nice. So if he sneaks to the first round, won't surprise me. He's probably the only one with the first round grade. Big fan of Osiris Torrance. And then Nolan Smith, unfortunately, had the torn pec. I think that makes him more of a top 50 guy right now, but a dude that, despite his size, plays the run exceptionally well. And the pass rush win rate, it's there. It was 25% this year before the injury. It's just you play on that Georgia front where they like to rotate guys in and out constantly. So you may look at his pressures and his sacks, and it's not that great, but you look at the win rate, it's like, okay, yeah. Won't be for every scheme, depending on how you want to utilize this cat, but he does have a little experience in terms of dropping back into coverage, but he's more of a zone spotter at that point. All right, Jared Verse. This is the boy I called out at the beginning of the year, saying I think this guy's going to be a top 50 guy. Now we're talking about him in the first round, and I love it. Open the year. We could go back to the spring training game for Florida State, where I was like, yo, this guy athletically and physically is kind of a stud. He really is. And then he opens the year hot against Duquesne, but then LSU. Freaking phenomenal. He's been slowed a bit by, I think it was an ankle injury or a knee injury, one of the two. I don't know if Todd mentions it here, but he's been slowed by injury, unfortunately. But dude's been very productive. Broderick Jones, the other tackle here that's kind of fallen out of favor when we talk about that top 4, but he's having a really good season too. Still, you kind of question his foot speed, and I think more of that just comes from his feet look a bit lazy at times, but wide base, great length, uber strong. Guy's going to be like, if in the run game, you're going to, like, if you're a team that loves to run the football or has a want to run the football, you're going to be looking at Broderick Jones. Big fan of Jones. All right, let's see what these final 4 guys are. Trenton Simpson. This is my top linebacker. He's kind of in this area for me. Where are you at on my big board? Oh, man, we basically got him in the same spot. Basically got him at the same spot. We'll talk about my big board next week. But Trenton Simpson, man, this guy plays so great out in space. You love the range. You love the speed at which he plays at. You love his ability as a blitzer, whether it's shooting the A or B gap or trying to bend the edge. He can do either or, and you love that. A guy that is this modern day, what they want from the linebacker position, but not necessarily getting from some guys like Isaiah Simmons and such. Then there's Clark Phillips. Really, the biggest knock on Clark Phillips is going to be His size, 5'10", and they got him. He has him listed at 183. I have him at 185. Regardless, this is a cat that is going to be scheme specific unless you see him as a slot. If you want him to play the outside, he probably want that in off-zone coverage. But this guy's a playmaker, man. He knows where the ball is at any given moment. He already has 2 pick sixes on the season. Guy's had a phenomenal year, and he's definitely probably that cornerback 5 right now. All right, what else we got? BJ Ojulari, man. The production has been immense. He's kind of the Yannick Ngakoue in this class, which I could see him fall into like the second round, which is where we saw Yannick go. But the dude's uber productive. Probably could be better in the run game than he currently is. But in terms of a pass rusher, man, elite speed. He has a ton of pass rush moves. You just love it. Big fan of Ojulari. And then the final guy on his list is Andre Carter. Again, this edge class is really good. So with Carter, he's a guy you want to get in an NFL weight room, get him to be more explosive. He has the size at 6'7", 260. He can definitely put a bit more strength on the frame. He's been slowed this year because teams are they're not accounting for anyone else on that Army defense. They're like, this is the guy we have to shut down. So he's seeing double teams, even triple teams in some cases, and it's kind of tough to win against that when offenses, opposing OCs are targeting you like that. It's kind of tough to win. But Carter, man, he's a guy that just oozes potential. I wonder, guys that just missed it. Let's see it here. Yeah, guys, I just missed it. Isaiah Foskey, of course, I'm apparently a big fan of. I didn't think I was that high on him. I just think the floor on him is very good. Josh Downs, twitchy, bit undersized, but he's twitched up, man. Very good after the catch. Siaki Ika, just a big space eater that can push the pocket. Keishon Butte, not having the same success as seasons of past, but he's been more productive after the Florida State game, which you like to see. Cedric Tillman. Again, I like Tillman probably more day 2 anyway. He's just this big-bodied vertical threat. So, yeah. But, yeah, I guess that's the list here. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. Which guys do you think should have made Todd McShay's big board? And that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.